Hi, this is Dr. Mark Sehl from the YouTube channel Therapy for the Heart, and it's part 3 of On Choosing a Therapist. And making part 3 because there are three things that I didn't include in parts 1 and 2. One is a re-emphasis on going back to talk 2 and why a therapist, it's better not to answer questions but to ask questions. And I'll give a synopsis to whet your appetite of that talk and talk 2 of what makes for a good psychotherapy session. So if somebody asks me in session, Dr. Sehl, do you live and work here? And I said, well, that's a very interesting question. What thoughts do you have about it? And he said, well, if you lived here, it would be one thing. If you had to commute here, it would be another. And I said, well, what would the difference be? And he said, well, you see me at a very early morning hour. I saw him at 7 o'clock in the morning. And he said, if you walked to work and saw me at 7 o'clock, it would make me feel that I was very special. If you lived here, I wouldn't feel that special. So what a lot of information by asking a question. If I answered the question, there might not have been that motivation to talk to me about why and what was important about that question. So psychotherapy is not chatting like we usually do with friends about, oh, do you live where you work? Yes, I do. No, I don't. It's a special event in one's life where you get an opportunity to understand what you're all about in terms of what motivations you have, in terms of the questions you ask. Otherwise, it would be just like every other conversation. You want to examine yourself, I would hope, and explore your conscious and unconscious reasons why you do things in life. Just like somebody in a party who walks up and says, a woman or a man walks up to the opposite sex and says, they say hello, and then they talk for a while, and then somebody says, well, have you ever been married? I would say, well, what makes you ask? Is that what kind of an answer can you give somebody? If they're married, does that mean they're going to be a good choice in life? Not necessarily. If they've never been married, does that mean that there's something wrong with them? Not necessarily. You need more information. So anyway, I wanted to include that in this part 3 to encourage you to go back to talk 2. And another thing I wanted to mention was Dr. Lucas's experience as my mentor. He was my teacher, and he gave us example one day in class of what happened when he didn't answer a question. So someone calls him up and says, Dr. Lucas, talk to him. She says, I'd like to know your fee. And he said, well, I don't want to talk about that over the phone. I'd like you to come in and talk with me. And she said, well, if you don't come in and if you don't answer my question, I'm going to hang up. I'm not coming in. So I said that. He said, that's up to you, but I'm not going to answer the question over the phone. So she hung up. She called him back later and asked to come in. She came in and she told him of the many experiences that she had when she called a therapist, demanding that they answer her question over the phone. But she never went to see them. Why did she come to see Dr. Lucas? Well, my feeling was that he was not afraid of her. He wasn't intimidated by her anger and her threats. So she knew that she had a man here who she could express her feelings eventually to, aggressive, assertive feelings, and who would not have to stand down to her. Very important for a patient to know that you're not going to be intimidated by them. So that's a good example that I forgot to include, I think, in part 1 and part 2 of On Choosing a Therapist. Maybe there's some other examples too that I can think of, but I think that's enough for this subject right now. And also I wanted to say one more thing, that that book, Alice Miller's book, it's under the 2 titles. One is Drama of the Gifted Child, and the other is Prisoners of Childhood, and it's still up on Amazon.com. It's around $13 or something new. I guess I would go for the Prisoners of Childhood version, but I'm not so sure. I think eventually she lost interest or lost her love for psychoanalysis, which is really strange because she made such a powerful contribution. That book was on the New York Times bestseller list, and that was not for professional people. That was for lay people who felt that she connected with them in their experience of being, of losing their self, in giving over their self to their caregivers. So, which is what I talk about a lot in my videos, as you know by looking at them. So that's it for Mark Sehl and on choosing a therapist. This is part 3. I'm going to sign off again. Please like the channel, and you can always find me by just putting Mark Sehl up on YouTube. You find the videos up there. And again, I appreciate your listening and patience and attention to these videos, and they help me because your comments help me when you write them in as to your reactions to what I'm saying and what I'm trying to convey. So thanks a lot. I'm going to sign off right now. This is Mark Sehl for YouTube channel Therapy for the Heart. And bye for now.